Good morning, everybody. I am Vincent Meza, and this is Listings to Leads. And this is our call for lenders, title professionals, and also for our agency clients. All of you work with real estate agents in a different capacity, right? You have a service that you're providing, or you want to create value in your relationships with your real estate partners, and ideally get increased business as part of that, growing that relationship. And in the past, if you go over here to our lenders page, and our title page looks very similar, I have some bullet points here that we think are relevant to you, right? You want to be the first person that somebody calls when they need your service. We have automated listing marketing. We have social media content and lead gen. We have the ability to run ads in just a couple of clicks on Facebook and Instagram. And we have a whole stack of ways to get more listings, more listing leads, right? So when you're talking to real estate professionals out there, many of them have some of the tools that we have, and some agents have a lot of tools that sound like the tools that we have. But there's a big difference from, I think, us and every other marketing company out there. There are a lot of companies that can do things automatically. That's actually not terribly difficult. It is, you do have to code that stuff. But to capture leads with automation is a lot more trickier. And we've been doing that for 14 years. And that's why you want to be able to introduce something like this to agents so that they can grow their business. And if you're bringing a solution to them that helps them grow their business, that's going to raise your value as a business partner, right? And that's the overall look. Now, if you're an agency, then there are a few people here that are from real estate marketing agencies. Now we're just going to be talking, you're going to want to look at it in terms of a great software solution that's going to help automate things, help get ads out there, help market, and help capture more listings. That's the high level of what Listings to Leads does. I do think we have to talk about what I see as a big major change. And that was, I think, on last Friday, the settlement with NAR hit the market, right? And I think right now, this week, lots of people, lots of groups, maybe some of you folks out there are having calls with your agents to talk about that, to give them like, hey, here are our ideas, right? And for me, we're looking at a lot of stuff, and we can certainly feel the ground shaking, everybody wondering what's going on. But all I can see is nobody really knows what's going to happen to the buyer's side of the equation, right? Some people say, oh, nothing's going to change. Other people are saying, our commission structure is not in the contract. So what is it going to be? Is it going to be based on a flat fee? Is it going to be based on my hourly time that I'm helping you buy a home, or a commission, or what? So actually nobody knows. And so we'll see what that's going to do. My gut feeling tells me there's going to be a number of buyer's agents that are just going to walk out of this industry. And I could be wrong, but I think that's going to happen. And I think that the people who are going to be left standing in real estate are the ones that focus on listings. And I think as you're talking to your clients, whether you are a marketing company or whether you are a title officer or a loan originator, you are going to want to be able to speak to how to generate listings. And so we're going to be talking about that today. Okay. I'm going to log into, we have a lender client, Joe. We're going to log in and look at his account. Before we dive into the nuts and bolts of all the great things you got to do, I want to talk about how you engage an agent, right? Because you can go to our website, click on lenders or title, and sign up for $150 a month. Okay. You can have up to 5 agents in that, right? And agents don't pay for that. There's no setup fee and there's no annual contract. It's pretty affordable. And when you see what we're doing and you think of all the competitors that you know out there, and there's a lot of great companies that lenders have been using for years and title officers have been using for years. And then when you get your arms around what we're doing, you realize we are, what's the term right here? Like we're on steroids, right? It's like a machine. I've heard somebody said, you're like a machine gun of marketing, because there are more than 200 tools in here to capture buyer leads and seller leads. Some for social media, some you can blast out on your CRM, some for print, some for Google. and just so many ways of capturing buyers and seller leads that there's just no company that's even close to us. Okay. There are a few companies with a few things like us, but there's just nobody close. But I want to talk about first, how do you get involved with agents? You might actually have a couple of agents or a handful of agents that you know very well, and you can go up to them and say, hey, I found a really awesome deal. It's going to help you get more buyers, get on social media, and get more listings, right? So in that way, a lot of lenders will come right over here to the agents tab and click add agent. And they will add name, number, and email. And you'll see here that we're going to send that agent a welcome email from you saying, hey, you, the loan officer or title agent, has invited you to Listings to Leads. Log in and set up your account, right? That's what it's going to do. And I've had this conversation, and this is a very realistic conversation. I had this with a lender who I spoke with last fall. And he's like, yeah, I signed up. I put 5 agents in there, and now a week later, only 2 people have logged in. And I said, yeah, that sounds right, because we all get hundreds of emails a day, and they don't even know what that's about. And I said, and of the 2 that have logged in, one's going to forget how to log in another couple weeks. They're just going to forget. And only one is going to figure out the value of what's going on. Okay. And that is not really what you're looking for. And so I often tell people, when you're going to add an agent, get them on the phone first, email them, say, hey, I found something that's awesome. We got to talk about it. And let's have a quick conversation. And then you say, hey, this is what it does, and this and that. Maybe you send them a link to some video that we have so they can see it for themselves. But then you say, hey, if you want to get in here, let me set you up and let's turn everything on together, right? And what that involves is a setup, right? Like setting up. Now, you can go to the Get Started page. When an agent logs in, they're going to get walked through this wizard here. And we innovate so fast. We add new tools so fast that this account setup is not actually going to get 100% of the setup. And so I have a 5-minute video. And if you're watching this and you want to get people set up quickly in 5 minutes and have everything turned on so it just impresses them and blows away your agents, doesn't matter if you're a title, marketing person, or a loan officer, you just email me at Vince@Listings to Leads. I'm going to send you a 5-minute video, and it's going to say, go here, click that, turn that on, turn this on, set up that, turn that on, and turn that on. And then everything's set up. And then we'll start auto sweeping their listings, and it's going to have their logo and their picture and all the stuff. And it's going to auto post to social media, and it's going to put landing pages behind it. If they have a big audience, they might actually capture leads for free. But then if the question after that, after you've done that setup, before setup, let's talk in a couple of days. So you go back to work. We spent that time. But you can text them or call them and just say, hey, do you need buyers for those properties? Do you need to run ads on that, right? Do you want to get some buyer leads with name, email, and phone number? And then if the answer is yes, because not everything sells so quickly anymore, then you come over here to the ad section. Now, I'm logged in as a loan officer. And if I click create a Facebook ad and I create an ad on something that's just listed. So here you can see there are multiple agents in this account, just like you would have multiple agents. And okay, I'm having some problem where I can't go beyond it, but let's just say I'm going to do just listed, leave it always on lead ads, and click create an ad. Now, Joe has his social media account connected. Okay. And so he can run ads just like this. And we see it's sponsored by Joe's mortgage page. It's talking about the agent down here. And here's the home. If I run a $35 ad, I'm going to, on average, a buyer lead costs $3 each in the US on Facebook. So that means if I click this button, it's going to have a 7-day ad running for $35, and I can expect 10 or 11 leads, okay, with name, email, and phone number, and time frame of when they want to buy. That's the easiest way to get buyer leads. And that you definitely want to be doing that. And if you're a loan officer, often I recommend this to everybody. When you are setting up an agent, and let's go back to the agents and talk about that, there are multiple places to add contact info. for the agent. So the default is, what is the agent's email right there? What you should do is also put in your email right here and say, hey, I want to be copied on all leads and tools. If you're new to us, be copied on all leads and tools, because you're getting copied on the communication tools that we're sending to the agents. You're also getting copied on the leads. You might want to follow up on those leads. I know some mortgage loan officers don't. I just spoke to a loan officer this morning, and realtors don't follow up on leads, right? We follow up. And so there are some loan officers that will be saying something like, I'm going to run the ads myself, pay for them myself, and I'm going to convert them. I'm going to make sure they're pre-qualified. And then I'm going to hand them to my agent partners and tell them help them buy a house. Right. But there are other lenders, and the way that this is designed is where you really get the agent, involved, right? And you're like, hey, let's get your social media things going. Let's get all this stuff. And now you're like a marketing powerhouse, right? As an agent. And that is what really is impressive. So if you save your contact information here as an alternate email, you'll be copied on either all the tools and leads, or just later on, you can say, hey, I just want to see the leads. In the past, I would tell you, and so that's just how you get copied on leads, right? We talked about how we can run an ad on a home and get buyer leads. In the past, when I'm talking to lenders, and even today when I'm talking to them, they're not interested in helping agents get listings. Just from a perspective of, they're not going to write a loan on a listing. But what's happened in the market with this NAR settlement is there's a little bit of vagary or haziness coming at us in July of 2024. And so what everybody does clearly understand is, I will get paid if I have a listing, right? I know how I will get paid. So you want to make sure that you're able to say, hey, you know what, that kind of weird wave is going to hit us. Let's you and I get together with a strategy to help you get more listings now, so you're not dead in the water then. So if I go to Facebook and I create an ad on a property that is sold or pending, now the message is going to be different. Let's see if this is going to work properly. Feel like maybe it is. Yeah, it's not. This is not actually. Sold pending is a status that we have, which means that the agent needs to decide if it's pending or sold. And because I can't scroll past this lady's or gentleman's listings, why am I having? Sorry guys, let me find something that's not sold. Idiotic. We'll have to get out of this. The point is, let me jump out of this so we need to talk very clearly about this. The point is, running ads on sold properties is the fastest way of getting listing leads. Okay. It's the fastest way, not the highest quality leads, but they are inexpensive and fast. Okay. So if you want fast results, you can start there. You can say, hey, let's run an ad on a property that you have that is sold or pending. That sold pending is a weird status that we have for things that are dropping out of the database. We don't know if they're sold or pending. And so we leave it in that status, which means that's not a good way to run it. So I'm going to ads and we're going to talk about this. And so at this point, we've talked about a couple of things, like what's going on in the market, how to engage an agent, and then how to get buyer leads. But here we're going to talk more about how to get seller leads. So if we focus on a listing ad, I can run an ad on a property that is sold, just sold. And I leave it on lead ad. So we're getting name, email, and phone number. And we pre-write the ad over there on the right. And if I click this button, it's a $50 for a week, right? $50 ad for a week. Seller leads on average in the United States right now cost $7 each. Okay. So if they're $7 each and you got $50 on this ad, you're going to get about 7 leads with name, email, and phone number and the times that they want to sell: 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So that's a good, simple way of getting listing leads, right? I want to show you something that's pretty interesting as well. Here's another way, very similar, to get listing leads. However, they are much, much cheaper. So when you have a home that is pending or under contract, the call to action is, again, you'll see here, it says, hey, this home is pending, going to close soon, going to affect your home value, right? So the price per lead is not set by us at Listings to Leads, it's set by Facebook. And the first thing that they do to set that price is they say, how many other people in this market, in this city, are competing with that same kind of ad? And if there are a lot, the price is going to be higher, right? If there aren't many, then the price will be lower. And I can tell you this, there are so few agents marketing pending and under contract properties that the cost per lead is $2.50 per lead. That means instead of running an ad for $50 and getting 7 leads, you're going to run an ad for $50 and get 20 leads with name, email, and phone number and selling time frame. This is very smart to do. You can't do it in every MLS because there are rules about those things sometimes. So you want to know about that, right? And so this is just another way of saying, hey, we can get you some low cost listing leads. Yeah, you're going to have to work on conversion. People aren't going to be in your office in 24 hours. We live in the real world, right? Another thing that you want to know about to help agents get listing leads is every agent has 80 PDF guides in their account. You as a lender have another 12. And those 12 for you are branded strictly to you. And they talk about, they're a high level view of loans, jumbo loans and certain kinds of loans, right? But as the agents log in, their colors, their logo, their picture is on every page of every one of these guides. And every guide is about 5 to 6 pages long. Okay. So they've got basically 40 different options of running ads on Facebook, right? To get more listings. And again, I'm focusing on listings right now, right? So 5 dangers of overpricing. There's all kinds of topics. You want to know, if you are a lender, you are co-branded on these. Okay. And leave it on lead ads. Just always use lead ads. Don't send traffic anywhere, because lead ads have pre-populated name, email, and phone number. So I'm going to type in Concord here. It's a town right next to me. I'm going to say, boom, publish. Notice it's going to be a 15-mile radius. In this case, that's not a big deal, because if there are people living beyond Concord, I'd still help them. I'd want to help them sell a house. So that's going to work for me. Okay. That's a very simple way of getting listing leads. These leads, however, cost more. Often they are around $10 each. So $50 ad divided by 10, you're going to get about 5 leads. Okay. And let's go. And let's start over. And let's talk about the one that gets everybody excited. And that is running a home valuation page. And I'm going to go back to Concord, which we just ran that PDF guide in Concord. And I'm going to type in the address so that it will pull up some data on recent sale. Okay. And you'll see that I've got a picture from the local park. This park is in the center of Concord. So I put that picture in the back of the landing page. You create your landing pages over here in the landing page tab, and then you can run ads and drive people to them. So this is what most agents do right here. And probably it's not a very effective way of getting listing leads. It is probably one of the number one things that agents are doing. And then they are losing their money, wasting their money, and wasting their time and just getting frustrated. And that there's a reason why, right? So it depends on where you are in the country. Concord is in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's like a suburb. So it's not in San Francisco. But let's see, Concord. What we need to understand is what Facebook is doing with its targeting and what it's not doing. Okay, that's the problem of Facebook ads, right? And when I click here, let's go back. You see how it says Concord and a 15-mile radius? Okay, what does that mean exactly? That means that it's not just showing it to the people who live in Concord. That's a big issue. And let me scroll back. It's a little bit tight. You see this map here? right up here where my mouse is going, that is Concord. There's about 30,000 people that live there. This whole map that we're looking at is about a 15-mile radius, maybe a little bit wider over here, right? At about 15 miles, there's about 500,000 people who are going to see this ad who don't live in Concord. But the ad is only talking about Concord. So that is going to work against you. Agents do this every day. Literally every day they run this kind of ad. They don't take classes like mine. They don't know what in the world's going on. They just click and, oh yeah, I want leads, right? It just is it can often be a waste of money. So here is something that usually is fairly techy, but again, speaking to the Zanar deal, I don't know what the landscape's going to look like. Honestly, I just don't. I don't know how buyer agents are going to get paid, and I don't think anybody really knows. I know that some MLSs have already been working in that direction and all that. But my gut tells me that agents better get serious about having listings in their business. And the reason why I'm repeating this, it's that what I'm going to show you has always been advanced stuff that very few agents would do. But now that the buyer's side of the deal is changing, I think agents are going to want, this is going to be very important to every agent. And what it has to do with is not targeting with location, but targeting with a custom audience. Now, I don't have a custom audience built for Concord, but I could get one. I could buy one from a third party. ListSource.com has that, right? Remind.com. ListSource is owned by Corp. I've been told these are very affordable lists. You can buy a list of homeowners with 5 years plus equity. That's all you need to know. And then you say, yeah, I want everybody in Concord who has more than 5 years equity. I want to target them, and I'm going to call my list. Here you see it's L to L seller audience, but you can actually call yours L to L and Concord homeowners, right? And then what that means is it's going to be a 7-day ad for $50, but it's not showing to everybody that lives, within 50 miles of Concord. It's only showing to people who are on Facebook who have owned their homes for 5 years or more. That's what makes Facebook very powerful and makes these ads very powerful. Now, normally, this is not something an agent's want to do, but just I'm going to show you how you do it. There's a button here that says create audience. And if you don't have that button, click the buttons that are telling you to create it. And then you can say Concord homeowners. And then it tells you that this list has to be 1,000 leads long. And so just to think about that, occasionally you have like neighborhoods that are like 500 or 750 people. So you don't have 1,000 leads. It has to be a minimum of 1,000 leads long. So get some other leads and put it in there. You're just going to hit people that it doesn't exactly fit, but that's how you do it. Okay. Now, a very important thing is use this format. Okay. When you buy a list from whatever company you buy it from, I'm pretty sure it's going to have about 20 columns of data going to the right? The address and this and that, and who knows, square footage. You need to wipe all that out, and you need to have just these 4 columns with those 4 headers. And once it's in that format, upload it and import it, and it will live in your agent's Facebook account. It will always be there, and they can always target with it. Again, I think every agent's going to have to get their arms around this. You can do this inside of Facebook. I've watched a very tech savvy agent do this inside Facebook. And as smart as that guy was and me sitting there, it took about 20 minutes. Here, after you get the spreadsheet sorted, it might take you a minute. It's click that blue button, give it a title, upload it and import it, and you're done. Okay. Facebook will need a couple of days to whatever they do to it. It's almost like they approve it, but I actually think what they're doing is they're finding the people on that list so that when you run your ads, it's going to hit those people. And so that's a little bit about like Facebook ads, right? Another important place, and probably one of the most important places, is Google is the #1 website in the country. Okay. And you can create all kinds of landing pages, but we're going to just concentrate on this one that we just did, Concord Homes. I don't know if you've ever run an ad on Google, but you have to, let me tell you this about Google. So a lot of people know about Facebook. A lot of realtors know about Facebook. And that's cool. You can get low cost leads and that's great. But the number one website in the United States is Google. All right. And all 86% of all questions are asked on this website, right? Where's the best place for a steak? Where's the best hotel in Hawaii? How do I sell my home? What kind of taxes do I pay on my home? Any questions? When you type that in here and you say, how do I sell my home? Or anything related, these people right here where it says sponsored, these people are paying for those keywords right there that I typed in. And they're saying, hey, if somebody lives, in my case, in Lafayette and types in those words, I want to be that right there. I want my landing page right there, right? So all these guys, all these people, including realtor.com, are advertising in my neighborhood, right? How do you do that? You create your Concord home valuation page, and you don't have to click view link, but just to confirm what we're doing, we're driving people to this landing page for Concord. All right. And it's going to offer a free home value. What do I have to do? I have to I have to tell Google, I want to hit that city with that page. It's a $50 a day budget, not $50 a week. It's a 7-day ad. So you do have exposure to $350 that you could potentially spend. Here is the reason why that daily budget is so high. In Dallas, Texas right now, and if I had a landing page that said Dallas home valuation and I typed in Dallas, each lead would cost me $30 each. So if I'm spending $50 a day, I'm only going to get one lead per day. If I change that, and I know that it's 60, I know it's 30 each. So I said, I'm going to change that to 60. Now I know I'm going to get 2 leads a day, right? For 7 days. And if I am doing this in Pennsylvania, those leads are about $20 a day. If I'm doing that in Utah, they're about $17 a day. And somebody once told me that it is $10 per lead in their market. I can't remember where it was, but $10 a lead. And again, it has to do with how much competition you have. If you're in Miami, I don't know. I'm sure you got a lot of competition in Florida. In Vancouver, British Columbia, those leads, this exact kind of ad, just like this, cost $200 US each. There are a lot of people competing for that business in Vancouver, and they're spending a lot of big teams, spending a lot of money. So you almost can't even compete if you're a new agent. I've spoken to new agents in Vancouver, and they're like, we just don't even compete. We compete on Facebook until we have enough money to compete on Google, right? And you might look at it that way yourself. Just for education purposes, what you need to do to run an ad is point it to the right PDF guide or to the right landing page, type in the corresponding city and click publish. That's it. Very easy. If you go and try and run an ad on Google, you're going to have to write in all those keywords. Now, we know what keywords you're typing because we actually have a resource that we review on a quarterly basis. So we keep these things current, right? You also have to write multiple headlines. So you should know what those headlines should be. We know what they should be. And so we pre-populate them for you. So you don't need to know. You also have to have descriptions, 3 descriptions. And again, we write those for you. So this Google software is actually an add-on for $30 a month. And normally I would tell people like, hey, you can get a lot of listing leads from just Facebook, right? You do the custom audiencing, like I said, you do some sold ads. Yeah, you're going to get listing leads, right? And then I would say, but if you've been in the business a while, and if you're an established realtor and you know that listings are part of your business, you're already blowing thousands a month with somebody running ads for you. I would highly recommend you use our Google software for $30 a month and run your own ads and pay for your own stuff, right? With the NAR settlement, I would tell every agent, if you're going to survive in this industry, you probably want to get familiar with this Google stuff. It is more expensive, so you might have to wait until you can get to that point. So you can get lower cost leads from Facebook. They are lower cost, lower quality too. The custom audiencing is going to help a lot. I want to explain to you why they are lower quality so that we just understand that. You want to understand that. Your agents want to understand this. When I come to Facebook, and everybody comes to Facebook, they see all kinds of stuff, right? They see what their friends are doing, the birthdays, they see what they're eating, they see their grandchildren, they see all kinds of weird stuff that they follow, right? That's just what goes on Facebook. It is, however, very compelling. It's the number 3 website in the country. American adults, not children, spend about 40 minutes every day scrolling through this on their phone or whatever. And you notice that I've got an ad here for a clothing company, right? So if I'm looking at cats, or I'm looking at what my nieces and nephews are doing, or I'm looking at what my friends are doing and following their birthday or whatever, if you lob something in front of them that's relevant, they might click on it, right? They might get their home value. They might click on an open house. And maybe they're interested, but they're not super interested because they were like looking at cats on Facebook, right? But if they were very interested in an answer, they would go to Google. 86% of all people go to Google when they're very serious and they need an answer. And if they type in a question like that, now you know that's why you are paying on Google. So just to give you a little bit of context, I remember speaking to a Remax team that works with us, and they said, we convert 1 out of 70 Facebook leads, 1 out of 70. So if you see that we could run an ad on a property that's for sale and we could get 10 leads for $35, you can do the math and say, if they're $3 a lead and I want 100 leads, I'm going to need to spend $300 to get 1 buyer. That's what they're saying. No, actually, 1 out of 70. So $210 for that team. I think teams know how to convert leads better than single agents. I don't have any proof, but just as I've been talking to people for years, that's what I can see. Like, teams know they're paying for leads and they know they need to convert them. So they just work harder on them. Whereas agents, they might generate leads and they don't even have a CRM going, and they maybe call them one time and that's it. So all that being said, if you're a really solid team and you're converting 1 out of 70 Facebook leads, it's about $210 to get 70 leads. But to get leads on Google and you need 40, if those leads cost $20, what is that? $800, right? Now, I was talking to this team in Dallas where the leads are, $30. I was like, that's a lot of money. When he said that, I was like, man, that's a lot of money. You're running ads on Google and you're doing a Dallas, what is your home worth? I don't have a Dallas page created, but I create an ad and I'm like, wow, you're paying $30 each. He's like, yeah, but our homes are like super expensive. I make X number of dollars. And so I'm willing to invest $1,000 to get that listing. Literally, that's what the math is. Okay. So you may not be in that kind of market and where that worked, but that was a big team. And I'll tell you this about that team. They also, remember how I said, do the custom audience for Facebook? They had 3 lists of Dallas homeowners, each with 10,000 names that had more than 5 years equity. And they just keep rerunning ads on Facebook. So they're making Facebook work for them and they're making Google work for them. This is a very successful team. And if you want to be, I think, as successful in your local market, you want to think about that, hey, I need to be competing on both of those platforms. And I need to have custom audiences to make Facebook work for me, because I'm going to need to have a very serious listing machine going here. So you got Facebook and Google. That's going to be awesome. Let's go talk about actually the number 1 tool that we have. And when I say number 1, it's getting the most listings or not getting the most leads. It's number 1 because you will only get a few leads, but these leads are so high quality that they convert the fastest to an actual listing, right? Every client has their listings inside of here. And when your listings are here, our Clients who get the most results from this, what I'm about to show you, they use the tool when the property is just listed, and they use the same tool when the property is just sold. So let's go look at just listed and see what we're talking about. And it doesn't matter, even if you don't have your own listing, you can borrow a listing, pull it in. You would want to make sure you have permission. And then you click on the nearby homeowner letter. So we're looking at a nearby homeowner letter that is just listed. Okay. And I'm going to show you, I'm downloading it here. You can customize it. The pencil means you can customize it, but let's just look at it real quick. It's not super sexy. Okay. It's not artificial intelligence and it's not whatever nonsense. It is common sense. It's a single piece of paper. It says, we've just listed a home in your area. Go to that website or text that number and go check it out, right? When this home is sold, it's going to affect your home value. Go to that web address and go get your free home value. That's all it's doing. It's not a big, heavy read. It's meant for you to look at it very quickly and make a decision. Do I want my home value? Boom. Yes. So what do our clients do? Some of our clients, they find a letter and they use like a bulk mailer and just send it in this zip code. It works, doesn't work that well. There is a company called Express Copy. And if you have an account with them, this is what happens. You connect it and you click on print and mail. And this is how you really make this tool powerful. I'm going to show you this because this is like powerful, easy way to do it. And then I'm going to show you a less easy, more powerful way. Okay. So the letter is here. You can preview it, but we already looked at it. Click on Get Mailing List from Express Copy. If you want to do a 1 or 2 mile radius, you change it there. They're only going to send it to homeowners with more than 6 years equity in 2 miles. Okay. 100 pieces of mail are going to go out. You don't have to touch it. All you got to do is choose the radius and submit order. If you're trying to develop a farm area, this is the number one way to do it. Get a letter like this out at least twice a month into that market. Okay. So it's $185. They fold it. They put the labels on the envelopes. They stuff it and they mail it. You don't have to touch it. All right. That's the easy way. We were really excited when we launched that. All good. Let's talk about harder ways. Okay. Because I know you like to do things the hard way. Who doesn't? And I'll tell you this, the only reason I'm showing you this is because the results are so great that you might want to do this. And you might find yourself where you have more time than money, right? And this is a great way to use that time. So this is from Pat Motley, posted in September of last year, 2023. Pat's been in our mastermind group for years. I think she's been a client for more than 10 years. And she's been taking my classes for a long time and applied what she's learned. And she even one-upped us. This is the letter that I just showed you. Okay. She's got some data points in here about what's going on within 1 mile of the home. That's pretty good. But she prints on the back. So she prints out 100 copies. Then she prints on the back to make it look like an envelope. And then she hand folds them herself and handwrites these envelopes. Okay. Why in the world would somebody do that when I just showed you can do it in about 10 seconds through Express Copy? There's one thing to be said about bulk mailers, and sometimes it doesn't even get in your house, right? This is why she's doing it. You can read it right here. She says, hey, I just closed the sale. I'm mailing out my second batch and I'm sending out 100, right? And I'm also I also sent out 100 just listed. And what she's saying is when she sent out the 100 just listed, 4 people called her. They didn't even go to the website. They just called her and said, hey, I want my home value. Right. Now I asked her a few weeks later, hey, how did that go? You could see in the comments. And she said, yeah, I got 4 more people calling me. So she has one home with 200 pieces of mail, getting her 8 listings to be sold in 2024. That is something that you want to definitely pay attention to. We got an easy way with Express Copy, right? The harder way may get you better result. There's an e-flyer for the database. There's always an e-flyer for your database. And every flyer we have is going to say there's something going on with the property up top, click on it, become a lead, and going to affect your home value. So the same flyer can get you listing leads. Every agent should be blasting this out at least once a week in their market. Because even if they have their own CRM, and there's some great CRMs out there that they're paying for, I'm pretty sure their phone is not ringing from those drip campaigns. I've just talked to a lot of agents and I know that that's not happening. It's just a box that we check because we think we need to have a drip campaign. But really the thing is at closing appointments for you. Over here on follow-ups, there are 2 drip campaigns. There are 4. There are 2 in English, one for buyers, one for sellers. And there are 2 in Spanish for buyers and sellers. So if you're in a Spanish speaking market, you got drip campaign. And I can tell you, these things actually close appointments because we're embedding PDF guides and links to get more information throughout it. So it's really engaging the people, not just giving you something that you get to read and look at your picture, right? That's really what it's all about. So also worth noting, we create postcards and door hangers. And as you can imagine, most of your realtor partners, they have postcards and door hangers. Heck, the best companies, the biggest brands like Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Sotheby's, Remax, Compass. They all have great branding. They all can give you some print tools. But you know what they're giving you? They're giving you their branding and your phone number and your picture. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but it's not a big pastime for people to be calling realtors. They're just not. They're going to do that when they absolutely have to. What people are doing is researching for weeks and months before they make a decision. And that's what our system is about. That's why I'm showing you the back of this postcard. Yeah, I've got your phone number and picture there, right? But I've got a link right there that says, hey, go get your free home value. On the front, we just listed this home. Go out and check it out. Now, I want to point out, remember the letter, agents don't, I hope this changes. And again, this is why I think the market's going to just shift. I think we're going to lose a percentage of realtors. We already did from high interest rates. And now that the buyer commission structure is nebulous, this is going to be a lot more of a deal. Like doing sold advertising has been around for a long time in real estate. A lot of agents know I should market my things that are sold. Does anybody here have any idea of what percentage of realtors do that? I'm going to say it's less than 10%. From what I see, it's less than 10%. They might hang a little sign right there that says it's sold, but that's really, if you look at all the homes sold, I'm pretty sure it's like even 5%. Now, this is the nearby homeowner letter, which I was telling you, right, that our client uses. So let's look at this. And so Pat is mailing 100 out when they're just listed and another 100 out when the home's sold. So you just change the status and we get, frankly, the same kind of letter, right? Hey, our home is sold. Go check it out. And affects your home value. We even pre-populated some sales data right here, right? This letter, it could be the same property, just like Pat, right? But you're getting it into the market. I'm going to show you one more thing there, and then I'm going to open it for questions. And it's related to this letter, right? Because this is the number one tool. And I want to make sure that you understand how and why you should use it. So Chris here is another client of ours. And we didn't learn about Chris until that first summer of COVID. This is when we first learned about Chris. He's a client of ours and has been since then. But the story is he says, hey, I got 5 listings in 3 months. Okay. And I do it all from that nearby homeowner letter. So we were pretty impressed by that. We talked to him. We actually had him on a call with us and stuff like that. And what we learned is that Chris was doing this in San Antonio, Texas. Okay. And not only that, he had just moved to San Antonio that year. He was a realtor. I'm sorry, my mouse is just being a jerk here. I'm trying to get to a comment here so I can show you. Yes. Okay. We got it. This is literally the recipe that he is using that I think everybody should follow along. He says, I send out letters every other week to neighbors who've owned their homes for 5 years or more. So he moved to this part of San Antonio where he bought a house with his family, wife and kids. And he wants to be the man there. He wants to own that neighborhood. So he was borrowing listings from his office. His team was with Keller Williams. And he borrows listings because he just moved to Antonio. He doesn't have his own listing. And he mails a letter like that out every 2 weeks. He bought that list from Remind of people that own their homes for more than 5 years. Okay. And what he says is once they opt in on the home value page, I hit them up every week with phone calls, bomb letters via mail, and letters left at the door. Right. That is more than the average single call from an agent. Okay. But the guy knows that if he mails this letter to people with equity, what percentage of people are going to open the letter, read it, walk to their own computer, type in that address, type in their own address, and give you their email address? Who is going to do that? Only people who are very seriously interested. And that for him was enough to say, I'm going to hit them up every week with phone calls, bomb letters via mail, and letters left at the door. This is a lot of work, right? First of all, he got the mail. He did it himself. He did the mailing himself. And our clients have been doing it by themselves for years. And then there's this follow-up. And if you think that life is going to be great and you can just keep being a buyer's agent, then right on. Don't even bother going through all this. I will give you another point about the success for Chris and that letter. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, this was in August of 2020, which is the first COVID summer, which was a freaky summer in real estate, obviously in the country. Within a year and a half, he became the top listing agent in his office and started his own office, just jumped and started his own office. And the very first thing he does is creates a YouTube channel for recruiting. And he says, hey, this is how I customize listings to leads to get more business. So he's saying, join me. I'm going to teach you how to be a successful agent. I can tell you he's very successful. He's just growing and growing. That's the Nearby Homeowner letter. That is key. Well, what's that? What is that? Miss T, what is that 7% mean? What are you talking about there? So what do we have here? We've talked about how to engage agents. Oh, I want to go back. So let's go back to Joe's account, which is where we started, who is a lender. And if you're a lender or a title person, you have this kind of tool, what I'm about to show you. So what we're doing is we're trying to give you tools to engage the agents to help get the word out, right? So if you've got agents you want to reach, you go to agents and you'll see add agent, but you'll also see invite agents. Okay. And here you can run an ad on your own Facebook account, which is saying, hey, get buyers and sellers with or without listings, right? It's just a quick little blurb. What location, what agent, where do you want to work with agents, right? Whatever your town is, Texas, wherever you are. An ad's going to just go out, $35, 15-mile radius, boom, you're getting it out. You want to just share it for free on your social media, click on social media posts. And he's got it auto posting. So this auto posted back in December, and you could post it again if you want, just to keep it fresh. But here is a post sitting on his Facebook page. And what happens if I click on it? It points me to this page where it gives me an idea of what's going on, and I can fill that out, and I'm requesting a free account from Joe. Okay. You all have this in your account. You also have an e-flyer. So what are you sitting on a database with a bunch of agents in it that you want to get the word out? This flyer is for you, right? It's got the same message, and they click for a free account. Print flyers, landing pages, and the intro presentation. This is really useful. So if you find yourself in a presentation, maybe, I don't know if I would do this on the phone, but if you're at an office, you're doing a lunch and learn, this is going to talk at a high level about what we're doing, telling you how do we capture leads. And we have talked about all this stuff today on this call. Gives you some of the ideas so that they can just get a look at what's going on with our social media. Right. So you can go through this presentation, and here, let's see if we can even hear this. Oh, we can't hear.
One seller lead ad.
Yeah. So this lady is just telling you, she runs a $35 ad for 7 days, and she has 3 active buyers and 1 listing from one $35 ad. Now, it doesn't always work out like that, right? But that's just an example of what's going on. If you go through that presentation, you can use it. It's designed to help you. Okay. So that's how you engage agents. We talked about a lot of the platform. We talked about Facebook. We talked about Google, PDF guides. I will also remind you, we can dive into this in general, but I don't see any questions except for the one about 7%, which I don't know what that means. There are 80 PDF guides. If you are a lender, you're branded on these. On Title, you're not. And on PDF guides, if I click on sellers, you'll notice that if I click on market, I can run a Facebook ad, I can run a Google ad, I can share it for free to social media, and I can put it on, I can blast it out on my CRM. I got print flyers and door hangers. All of these options all capture leads. Again, I think listings are going to be very important in this industry, especially starting in July of 2024. This is our YouTube channel. And this call here has been recorded and it will be on this channel very soon. If you are a lender, I would recommend that you look at my previous calls that will say right on top, listings to leads for lenders. How to integrate your loan application. This is very important if you want to integrate the loan applications on your agent's listings, right? Get them pre-qualified. But I typically do training classes for realtors, for agents. And so we do top tools for more listings. And I would definitely, no matter if you want to bring listings to your agent clients, you want to know, and we've talked a lot about it. This class here, I've really focused on what to do, but this might have a little, my Facebook and Google calls are always broken out on here's how you get buyers and here's how you get sellers. Okay. So you're going to want to be familiar with that. Scott's doing a lot of shorter videos. This one is on how to create a short video for TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. I highly recommend that you get involved with it. You build that brand. I know it's not for everybody, but it's definitely a good way to boost your brand. And then there's just a lot of topics in here. So if you start at the top, you don't have to go through them all. There'll be a point where you're just like, okay, I get it. Well, when you get it, that means you can apply our platform. And when you can apply our platform consistently, your business is going to grow. That's just what's going to happen, right? You use the tools that I've talked about today, you're going to get more listings. There are lots of ways to get buyers, lots of ways to get brands. There's more to the platform than what I talked about today. But because of this shift in what's happening, I think everybody needs to get their head around how are we going to get more listings for our clients and for our partners. Everybody, I don't see any more questions except for Miss T's 7%, which I don't know what that means, but thanks for joining me. This call will be on our YouTube channel. If you don't know, I did show you our mastermind group. If you're a client and you're in it, go down to the support page and ask the support team to get you in the mastermind group. And if you're working with agents, let's say you're adding agents, you can then invite those agents to this. We are going to look at it and confirm that they have an account. If they don't have an account, we're not going to let them in. But if you have an account, we're going to get you in as soon as you send a message to support. And then you can invite agents as you feel so that they don't have to go through that process. It's a much easier deal. We will look at it. We'll confirm that they're in the database and then we'll get them in there. Everybody, thanks so much for hanging out with me. Use the support team. They are super helpful. And if you have questions about what we're doing, if you want my 5-minute get started video, like how to turn everything on, email me at vince@listingstoleads. And also if you have a team or you have a brokerage, or you'll find, if you click on offices and teams, you'll find my contact information somewhere, I think on the bottom here. I'm Vince@listingstoleads. And I think my phone number is there as well. If we go down, I guess it's not there. Let's see. Yeah, it was here. Contact now. What does contact now do? Nothing. Great. Oh, I guess that goes to me. It used to be somewhere, but anyway, Vince@listingstoleads.com reaches me. So if you need help, let me know. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.